Hey, I'm Jay. There's been a lot of It Gets Better videos around, and just wanted to add mine to the collection. Despite my size, I wasn't always this size obviously, I was bullied relentlessly. I went to 3 different schools. I was bullied relentlessly in all 3 of them. The first one, I was picked on because I liked music. It was very simple. I liked music instead of sport. Unfortunately, the 3 schools I went to, they were all centered around sport. I wasn't a huge sports person. I loved my music, and I wasn't too interested in sport, and that was enough to get picked on and bullied. First day of school, I was beaten up and went to school the next day with a black eye. It was pretty terrifying. I hated school. I changed schools after a while, and the bullying got worse. I did talk to people about it, but the more people I tried to get to help, the worse it got, it seemed, in my mind anyway. In another primary school that I went to, I was bullied every day by 2 boys. Physical abuse, there was emotional abuse, a loud neighbour. It got to the point where they would hold me down and pull my pants off me and run off with them, things like that. And for a kid, that's, not exactly fills you with a lot of confidence and things like that. I was picked on because I was overweight, probably a throwback to not being into sport, but primary school was terrifying for me. I hated it. And then I got to high school and I thought, hopefully things will stop. But they didn't. Those 2 boys by that time were now 2 big, lanky, strong teenagers. And so the bullying continued with them, and there were 2 more boys who were older than those 2. They were actually in my older sister's class, and they started beating me up and calling me every name under the sun sort of thing. And again, I was in high school and I was terrified of going to school. I hated it. And the turning point was I was pushed by one of these boys, and I actually fell back and I broke my elbow right on the end there. It was a nasty little break. It took a while to heal too, and that's when the principal finally put their foot down, finally, and they suspended them and reprimanded them and everything like that. But it didn't slow down until my final year of school. My final year was when I suddenly bulked out, and shot up in height. And then suddenly, oh, what a surprise, no one picked on me after that. But the things that I was picked on for were just ridiculous. And there were only 3 things that stopped me. I felt suicidal. I'm not going to lie to you. I felt completely helpless. I didn't know where to go. There was just no escape. But there were 3 things that got me through, and one of them was music. I kept with my music, and I still love my music. I'm a radio DJ now. But I also created a cartoon group of master criminals. And when my life went to hell, I would come home from school and I would escape into this this cartoon world of, and I'll draw these characters and make up these wild stories of them robbing banks and doing this and doing that, and that helped me a lot. My anger and frustration at being bullied transformed into these cartoon characters, and they made other people suffer because of it. And the other thing that got me through, I mean, I went through self-harm. I did, because I thought there was something wrong with me and that I was some sort of freak, and so I went through self-harm and a lot of other nasty things which I won't go into. But the other thing was writing. I wrote about how helpless I felt. I wrote about how angry I was, how frustrated, how upset I was. Most of those writings, you know, the tears would be flowing and the pen would be flowing. You know, I just wrote so much of, you know, the little school exercise books, 128 page books or whatever they are. I've got a pile like that, full of writing. And it's that got those three things. They stopped me from killing myself. I clung to them like a life raft. Those were the only three things that stopped me. And because I knew, no matter how bad things got, I could come home and I could write about it, or I could come home and I could escape into this world of my little criminal gang that I made. And by the time I was ready to face the world again, I'd be a lot better. I would have got it out of my system and ready to face the next day. And then at the end of that day, I'd go through, escape into them, you know, things like that. It was a never-ending cycle, but I got through it. I did. And to his credit, one of those bullies approached me 5 years after I finished school. He approached me in the street and he put his hand out and he apologised to me for bullying me. So I did appreciate that. And it took me a long time, 15 years, and then it dawned on me, it wasn't me that was the problem. I wasn't a freak. I wasn't lacking in anything. It wasn't my fault. They subconsciously saw something in me that they lack, and their coping skills, or lack thereof, couldn't deal with that. And so they would find something, whether it was because I wasn't into sport or because I was overweight or whatever it was, and because they felt subconsciously inferior to me, to whatever I had that they lacked, they had to subconsciously elevate themselves above me to make up for their insufficiencies. Therefore, they targeted me and they bullied me to the point where I almost finished myself off, because they had to try and feel bigger and more important than me. And it took me a long time to realise that. And a lot of you are getting bullied, you know, whether it be because you're overweight, or because of your sexuality, or because you're short, or because you wear glasses, or something like that. That's not actually the problem. That's not the problem. And you're not the problem. You've got something that they subconsciously know that they don't have, and they can't deal with that. Therefore, they try and elevate themselves above you by picking on something petty, like glasses, or your sexuality, or your height, or your weight, or whatever it is that they're picking on. And that's what it is. And it took me a long time to realise that. And it also took me just as longer time to forgive them for their shortcomings. And that was a big step for me personally, because I hung on to that anger and that helplessness for a long time. And I mean, yeah, I'm still fat and I still love music. I haven't changed. I didn't let them change me. But now I forgive them. I haven't said it to their face because I don't see them that often, but I forgive them for what they did to me. All those horrible things that they did to me, I now forgive them, because it wasn't me that was the problem. I actually wasn't the freak. I had something that they subconsciously knew that they lacked, and so they targeted me because they couldn't deal with that. And that's pretty much, I feel, what bullies do. So if you're getting bullied, it's not you. And dig your heels in. Don't give up, because everyone says it, and it's true. It gets better. I stuck it out. It was tough, and I'm not going to lie to you. It was freaking tough. But I stuck it out, and I'm still here today. I have a wife. I have 2 sons. I make my own music now. I use those writings and those experiences, and I've turned them into a positive. I now create my own music. And I look at my life and how it's turned out. I've got some really bad downsides as well. But who doesn't these days, you know? But it's just the way it is, you know? That's life. You have your ups and downs, but in the overall plan, I have a wonderful wife. I have 2 lovely boys who I love heaps. I have some wonderful friends now, and I create my own music, and I love doing that. Absolutely love it. My first song that I made, I just pumped the air. I was so proud. I've made, I don't know, 10 songs. I've got 3 on the go at the moment. And then I look at their lives and how their lives have turned out because they haven't worked on trying to improve themselves. One is a failed footballer with really bad knees. One is mixed up in drugs and thinks that it's really funny to defecate on people's cars. Another one is a failed rodeo rider who is an alcoholic and has been banned from almost every bar in the state because of brawling and fighting. You know, look at their lives and pity them. Forgive them. Karma exists, and there it is right there. So stick with it, fight it, it gets better. And now I have to ruin the end of the video by actually standing up and turning the camera off. But yeah, grab hold of anything like that, whether it be the cartoon criminal gang or writing or whatever you're good at. Just grab hold of it and just go, this is why I'm here, and you are not going to change me, and you are not going to stop me. You've got it. You've got the power within you. Alright? So stick with it. It's not you, and it gets better. See, ruining the end of the video. Just got to turn it off now.